Welcome back to another video. Today's November 14th, 2025. I wanted to shoot this video for you guys today because I really do think that we are entering a critical phase in today's economy. Now, as some of you may know, the government is getting ready to send out stimulus checks once again. I really do think that that is actually very, very dangerous, and it's not necessary to be able to send out all this money to people across the United States for them to continue to spend it on things that are not necessary. And the current administration right now is getting to a point where they're halting this whole quantitative tightening. They want to be able to start allowing people to be able to have access to more money, which I think is a very dangerous precedent. That's one of the reasons why on a previous video of mine, I decided to grab my YouTube earnings and just put them into gold and silver, because I really do think that there are some cracks forming in the economy, and the US dollar is just getting weaker as the weeks go by. And you can see that because this past year, people are just getting completely ravaged by all of the expenses, how expensive everything is. People are going broke. My customers are having a harder time to be able to make ends meet. Every time I ask for my payment for my services, it's getting harder to be able to collect money from people. And I can just see that there are a lot of cracks forming in today's economy. And that's why it's very important for all of you out there to be able to continue to try to do your best to be able to prepare, to be able to save as much as you can. I understand that right now everything is so expensive, but do the best that you can to be able to prepare, to be able to have your emergency fund, to be able to have your emergency stockpile of food, to continue to train, to continue to be a better person. Because at the end of the day, I really do think that these next couple years are going to be very difficult. They're going to be very trying times. And there's going to be two classes of people, people who are prepared and people who are not. I have people that I talk to that are getting very desperate. And I've had a couple of people that I know that have actually asked me for loans, which I tell them I'm not a bank. If you want a loan, go to a bank. I am not a bank. Things are not the best right now, and I am not in the position to be lending out money to people, because I know at the end of the day, there's a very high chance that these people will not pay me back, or if they do, they will take a very long time, or it gets to a point where maybe I loan out a couple $100 to someone and maybe they will just disappear from my life. So that's why it's very important that you do prepare, because there will be a lot of people out there who will not know what to do, and they got into financial trouble because maybe they decided to finance a brand new vehicle they can no longer afford. Maybe their business has slowed down, or their hours have slowed down at work, or maybe the tips have slowed down. And so it makes it more difficult for people to continue to afford the lifestyle they had a year ago or 2 years ago. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about 50-year mortgages. Okay, this is actually something that is very outrageous. It just feels very outrageous, but it's actually happening. Honestly, if we're going down that road, we might as well do 15-year car loans, portable mortgages, or even portable car loans, and start financing everything we use to survive. In this video, I want to break down the positives, the negatives, the useful life of property, and what this means for the asset prices, and what other countries do, and why everyday people and businesses can't even pay things in full anymore. Let's get into it. So what exactly is a 50-year mortgage? A 50-year mortgage is basically the bank saying, we know homes are unaffordable, but instead of fixing anything, the payment looks cheaper, but the total cost completely explodes. Most people don't stay in a home longer than 7 to 10 years. I've seen it firsthand in my neighborhood. Usually you have people around me that will just disappear after several years because maybe they decided to sell the property and move away to a bigger home, smaller home. Maybe they want to move away to closer to some of their family in a different area. So it's very, very common to see nowadays that people are actually living in a home somewhere around that period. So banks collect all the interest while you barely touch the principal if you decide to get into a 50-year mortgage. So the way this works is, for the most part, I feel like this is just a lifetime subscription. Now, to be fair, there are some positives to having a 50-year mortgage. You will see some lower monthly payments. More people will qualify for that payment. The longer that you finance a property, you will end up paying double or triple the home price. The equity that you build will be extremely slow. You will never own that home. And more than likely, the family members that take over that mortgage after you pass away will never own it as well. If they decide to refinance it, they will just continue to kick the can down the road. So one of the things that I think that a lot of people are not realizing is that if they do go ahead and pass this whole 50-year mortgage, the only thing that they're going to do is they're going to increase the demand. People who couldn't qualify for a 30-year loan suddenly qualify for a 50-year loan. Not only that, but they also plan to do away with the credit score requirement. So if they see that someone can qualify in other sectors, they won't take the credit score that much into consideration. So what will end up happening is, because there will be more buyers, now there will be more competition, are going to inflate the prices even further. So this is not going to improve the affordability of what's going on right now. It's only going to inflate the bubble even further and make it tougher for the average person to be able to afford a home. And if they do this with everything, cars, appliances, and furniture, the prices will rise with those as well. I can tell you that in countries like Mexico, the longest mortgage that you can usually get is somewhere between 15 and 20 years. Not 30 years, not 40 years, and definitely not 50 years. Why? Because they don't want to lend longer than what is the useful life of a property. It keeps prices grounded, and it prevents these massive bubbles. And here in the US, we're not just lowering the prices. We want to stretch the debt out as much as possible. I have another question too. If they make 50-year mortgages normal, why don't they just do 15-year car loans? Might as well. Most people usually have a car somewhere between 10 and 12 years. That's usually what I've seen. Some people can hold on to them longer, but I've seen that for the most part, people tend to hold on to a vehicle somewhere around 10, 12, 13, maybe 15 years. And then finally they get rid of it, or sometimes the transmission goes out, or it just becomes very expensive to be able to continue pouring money into that vehicle. So they end up getting rid of it for pennies on the dollar and just go buy a new one. But I would say most people that I've talked to, they usually keep a vehicle somewhere between 4 and 5 years. And imagine if you got a 15-year car loan, that means that the car will die, but you will continue paying that vehicle off even after the vehicle is dead or no longer in your possession. So again, this is another situation where the affordability, it's not really going to improve much. The monthly payment might look smaller, but the price will definitely go up. And people can't pay anything in full anymore. Even in the commercial world, we're talking about clients that I know that have businesses. A lot of them are financing their insurance premiums, and they can't afford to pay them in full. We're talking about liability insurance, workman's comp insurance, auto insurance, and all the types of insurances that you need for your business. They're all being financed. And the same thing is happening with consumers. They're just financing everything. They're financing their phones, they're financing their furniture, they're putting everything on subscriptions. They're using buy now, pay laters for everything. They're maxing out their credit cards. They're paying for everything and just completely drowning in debt. Everything is already in payments at this point. People are just being conditioned left and right to never pay anything up front and to always stay in monthly debt payments. That's what everybody's being conditioned to do. And here is something that you'll probably see in the future as well here, is you're going to see portable mortgages and portable car loans. So this already exists in other countries. You keep your same mortgage and you keep the same interest rate, you just move it to a different home. And portable car loans, they're going to probably work in the same way. You're going to be able to trade in your vehicle and you're going to be able to keep the same car note. So you'll be able to lock in a pretty good interest rate for a very, very long time. And if you decide to move your property or your home, it's not going to punish you in any way financially. You won't have to pay any refinance fees and you'll have lower closing costs. So you're not going to be stuck in that house forever or in that auto forever as well. Now, there are some negatives to be able to have these type of portable mortgages or portable car loans. And the banks, they're not too happy about it because they can't raise your rate throughout this whole time and they lose a lot of profit over the years. So I really do think that these portable loans, they would inflate the prices even further. People that have these low locked in rates, they can bid higher and they can upgrade more often as the years go by. So you're going to see the same pattern overall. There's going to be higher demand and there's going to be higher prices overall. And this is all going to turn debt into something that you can carry forever. So the bottom line is you're going to have these 50-year mortgages, 15-year car loans. You're going to have financing for your premiums. You're going to be having everything on subscriptions. You're going to be paying everything on buy now, pay later. You're going to have a bunch of portable loans. And so all of this is pointing to the fact that people, they can't afford anything anymore. It's just getting to a point where the government is realizing that they can't lower the prices. Financing everything to the hilt, subscriptions, buy now, pay later. All of this is pretty much part of the same reality. People can't afford anything anymore. They just can't. It's just getting to a point where people have just given up at this point. And I think the current administration, current politicians right now, they all realize that we cannot lower these prices, that inflation cannot be contained. So what they're realizing, instead of doing that, let's just go ahead and extend the debt so that people can continue to afford these things, even if it means taking on longer loan periods and paying more interest rates over time. All they care about is people being able to afford things to keep them happy. And it's just never-ending payments. Never-ending payments, stretch it as far as you can and just keep going. Personally, you don't have to play the game that they want you to play. Like I said, try to live below your means. I've always preached that on this channel, to try to live below your means and try to keep away from purchasing things that you don't need. Just continue to build wealth over time. You know, even if it's just a little bit each year or every month, just continue to stack your savings. Even if it means cutting a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't have to choose a lifetime of debt and payments. You can choose financial freedom. It's really all up to you. So this is just something that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. I am going to be shooting another video here soon for you guys and give you guys an update on other things that I have in mind. I think it's very important for us to be able to focus on ourselves, which is what I've been doing this last month. Just try to focus on myself, focus on my training, give myself a little bit more of a breathing room now that things have slowed down. Like I said before in another video, I did get rid of an assistant that I had. So that does require for me to do a little bit more work. Because obviously I'd still have some stuff that I still have to take care of on a daily basis with clients. But at the end of the day, I do have a little bit more time to be able to focus on myself and regroup my thoughts, because we're only in November already. It's almost January. And as you know, once next year kicks in, everybody starts talking about taxes and how they want to prepare their tax returns for 2025. I think it's going to be a very interesting year. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to be coming in and talking about their experience this past year. I think it's going to be very interesting to hear from a lot of my clients how their 2025 has been. And I really do think that going forward, we are going to be entering a different phase here in the United States economy. I wish everybody the best. If you haven't had a chance, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of interesting content and there are going to be some pretty good videos going forward. I know it's getting very difficult sometimes for me to be able to post regularly, but I will try my best. This is just something that I need to make sure that I provide good content for you guys, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that the information that I'm delivering to you guys, you can go ahead and benefit from. And I really do think that the more that I go ahead and preach certain things on this channel, I know that there will be some people out there that will be inspired by it. And maybe as long as I can inspire a couple people on these videos, I think I've done my purpose. So we'll go ahead and leave it there. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.